evening, everyone. Kelechimba is my name. I found a workplace women amongst other co-founders who are here tonight. Shola Odende, Ruth Egbe, and of course, we are the forebearers of the SEAT. The SEAT is a good governance initiative aimed at ensuring that the citizenry schooled rightly, not just towards the elections or towards voters' rights or voters' responsibilities, but to ensure that good governance is what we experience as a nation. And tonight we'll be looking at vote trading, mitigation strategies, and mechanisms. And I won't be doing this job alone today of anchoring. Of course, network in this part of the world is still a big deal. And so I will be having another workplace woman promise co-anchor this session. Good evening again. Thank you very much for having every one of you here. Apologies again that we had to experience this hitch, but I do know that the hitch wouldn't stop us from having a very interesting conversation tonight around vote trading, what the definition is, how bad it is, how it can endanger the society, how it has endangered our electoral process in the time past, and the mechanisms that we can put in place even as we move into the election seasons. Of course, we're already in the campaign month, and very soon we will have the campaigns on top gear. And so this makes it a very important topic that we need to address, profess solutions, and have more and more people understand the dangers of vote trading. And so without further ado, I'd quickly introduce our speakers for tonight. We have Chile Igeku. Chile Igeku is a brilliant young man I have met in the course of doing life. I think that's a great way to put it. He's a leadership expert. He has 11 years of working experience in the education, franchising, logistics, oil and gas, and technology industry. He has learned the art of negotiation and deal closure as he's grown through the ranks of sales, data analysis, and IT project management. He earned his master's degree in gas engineering and management from Salford University, United Kingdom. He has his first degree in physics, and of course, with a strong background in engineering and information technology, business development, and managing corporate teams. These are all of the elements that makes Chile a perfect fit. Organizations who hire Chile because of his implementable strategies and demonstration skills that help achieve financial goals, optimize productivity by prioritizing daily objectives. He began his career as a lecturer in the School of Nursing and Midwifery, Gombe. Wow, this is interesting. Where he taught them physics, he's moved on to positions in the oil and gas industry. Currently, he's the FSI lead in Assessco. He consults for PMS Pharmaceuticals, Burger Pharmaceuticals, Happy Vibes. Chile is a member of International Gas Engineering Managers and has been nominated a couple of times to the Institute of Management. He delivers high energy keynote presentations like the one he's going to be doing tonight as a panelist, and he challenges his audiences to leverage their focus and pay attention to what matters the most, not just in the marketplace, but in societal and national issues. Critical thinkers love meeting with Chile as he has a knack for challenging the status quo. With over 50 new media article publications on Nigeria and the Nigerian state, Chile is a man of many hats. Chile, would you want to unmute yourself quickly and say hi before I introduce the other panelists? I'll quickly move on to another interesting gentleman. I call him an interesting gentleman because I've known him beyond the talks. Anytime I find myself in situations, in scenarios, in gatherings where I engage on good governance, People, as a matter of, policy, do not necessarily discuss politics, outside their terrain. But I discuss good governance because I think that it's a strong enabler for every thriving society. And so what you would always hear me say to people is beyond the talks, one of the places where we've outrightly missed it is we get people into positions who we haven't seen what they've done in time past, within their families, within their society, within their communities, on the streets they grew up, on. No one can say this is what they've done. And we want to believe that a new Nigeria is being bettered, and we'll see that going forward. And this just clearly describes this young man. Michael King is a human capacity developer, life business coach, serial entrepreneur. He's the founder of Notch, a tech and marketing company with the vision of building Africa's biggest tech enterprise. He's also the founder of Wako Coding. So that word is derived from the Yoruba language. Wako Coding, come and learn coding. A technology school that has enabled hundreds of kids, especially within the slums, learn software programming, while offering scholarships to brilliant indigent children without the means. Michael King is passionate about Nigeria. He believes Nigeria will only achieve her potentials only when settlers' attention is given to developing the youths to become world-class skilled laborers. He's also a believer of good governance being the key to a new Nigeria. Over the years, Michael King has empowered thousands of youths through his tech skills and job programs. He has collaborated with both German and Nigerian government on a series of empowerment projects targeted towards empowering youths with tech skills. He has made a name for himself, serving undeserved and unserved communities by offering out of the school walls technology education and in-demand skills for young people to earn a decent living. Michael is a grassroots mobilizer. He is the founder of Transform Nigeria Initiative, an initiative designed to help one of the aspirants build structure and generate votes. I think at this point it's also important that we state that the Workplace Women platform is a non-partisan platform. However, we enable conversations. It's a very welcome idea for us to have conversations around what good governance is, and then whoever matches that scenario is in our place to educate the people. So thank you very much for being here tonight, Michael. Barrister Paul. This is another vibrant young man. Paul is an international business lawyer pursuing his Master of Law degree program at American University Washington College of Law in Washington, D.C., USA. He's a first-class graduate of Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Hey, hot head, you. First-class graduate. And the Nigerian Law School. Are you kidding me? He currently works with the World Bank Group Business Ethics Department in the United States of America. His practice includes business financing, business crime investigation, corporate ethics, and compliance. I remember when we had sent our 15-week series topics across to him. He was the first panelist who had said, you know what, I'm gunning for vote trading. Obviously, it's an area he's passionate about. It's an area that he understands. He's not within the same time zone as us, and so it's a sacrifice, more or less, for him to be here at this moment. Thank you very much, every one of you. Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you very much to our faithful audience who still found their way to joining us here. It will be a good time to yield the mic to Promise. Promise, please say hi to the people, and of course, throw your first question. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Promise, like she has already said, I thank everybody for coming into this space tonight, a platform that seeks to sensitize and advocate for good governance. So it is safe to say that vote trading has been characterized, if not, we've seen it in all of our election since the 90s. And as we plan towards the forthcoming 2023 general elections, our country, Nigeria, has experienced in recent times this issue we'll be discussing tonight as regards to vote trading. So my first question is directed at Barrister Paul. Sir, please could you take us through the route of what vote trading and trading is?
Hi everyone, good evening. I thank the Workplace Women Initiative for this opportunity. Um, Vote trading, as the name suggests, vote trading simply put means transacting in votes. Vote transaction. It is the act of buying and selling of vote. It is defined as a process where a group of people decide to vote for a particular candidate, political candidate, or a particular political party in exchange for benefits, whether present benefit or future benefit. Vote trading, for instance, using Nigeria as a case study, the 2023 election is fast coming close, and some people are already rooting for the political party that they want to vote for. Some people want to vote for the APC. Some people want to vote for the PDP. Some people want to vote for Labour Party. Now, vote trading in this scenario is where people decide to vote for a particular political party, whether the APC, the PDP, or the Labour Party, on the basis of the benefit that they would get, either financial benefit at the moment or future benefit. I could decide to vote for the APC because the aspirant of the APC is a Muslim. So I am not voting on the basis of competence, I'm not voting on the basis of capacity, and I'm not voting on the basis of integrity. But I'm voting primarily because this person is a Muslim and I am also a Muslim. Or I decide to vote for Mr. Peter Obi, the candidate of the Labour Party, and because he's an Igbo man. So I am voting on the line of ethnicity. Or I decide to vote on the basis of how much I would get in return. Or maybe they would, my father or my mother, or a relative or friend would get a position when the particular aspirants get into power. So simply put, vote trading is when you vote in a particular way because of the benefit you're going to get, not necessarily because of you voting on the basis of capacity. And
Competence.
and and in Nigeria, the Nigerian law makes vote trading an offense punishable. Under Section 124 of the Electoral Act 2010, vote trading was defined as paying money to any other person for bribery at any time during election in order to gain electoral favor, or receiving any money or gift for voting or to refrain from voting at any election. It is actually an offense under the Nigerian law, which is punishable upon conviction by payment of fine of 500,000 naira or a 12-month imprisonment, or both. But the challenge is that in Nigeria, unfortunately, no one has been convicted of vote trading or vote buying or vote selling, as the case may be. So vote trading is an albatross in the wheel of progress, democratic progress of any political system. Vote trading is a very big challenge that we are facing, using Nigeria as a case study in our country, Nigeria. And that is one of the reasons we have the leadership challenge we are facing today. Most people vote on the lines of ethnicity, on the lines of tribalism, on the lines of the pecuniary uh, benefit they would get, and not necessarily on the basis of competence. So it's a very big challenge. Any government, any political system that desires to move forward has to address the ills and of vote trading. So I believe I've been able to demystify the concept of vote trading by giving various examples and also trying to explain it from different perspectives. Thank you.
Mm, thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Great. Thank you very much. I must say a very big thank you to you, Barrister Paul. I think that was as simple and as interesting as it can be. Two things you were able to bring to the fore. Two things you were able to bring to the fore is that it has a huge capacity to sway the minds of the people. And another one is that it's punishable by the law. So the truth is, I didn't know that part. I didn't know that part of being punishable, before now. And so, if it is punishable, and then you have people glaringly commit this crime, it becomes something that, as a people, we need to ask ourselves again, as the Nigerian populace, how responsible have we been, or how irresponsible have we been? But in order not to detract that question that Promise had raised for Chile, do we have any statistics backing this up? It could be Chile, it could be Barrister Paul still, but Chile, I see that you have the mic now. Is there any statistics? I know you've also done quite some work around the corridors of mobilization, around the corridors of government as a side gig. Do you have any statistics to back this up from any part of the country based on the work you've done?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. So basically, before we begin to reel out the numbers, right, it's also important to understand the concept or the reason or what fuels vote trading, right? It's an interesting topic. I think I prefer to actually call it vote buying. Okay. Now, basically, one of the major factors that is found at the foundation of vote trading is poverty. Okay, so because we have about 95 million of Nigerians poor, that's over 45% of our Nigerian populace living below the poverty line, living below $2 a day. So it becomes very easy for vote trading to have its way, because, for example, I'll give you an example. In 2011, I was opportune to work as a polling officer for INEC as an ad hoc staff in one of the northern states, and let's say it took us about 2 days to get to the polling unit where I was assigned, right? And it was obviously it was not motorable. We got there by use of donkey, and at the end of the day, when the polling bags and ballot boxes came, and the polling the ballot papers came in that community, we had, say, about 3,800, between 3,800 to 4,200 registered voters. And one of the political parties as at the time came into that particular community that was not motorable. They came in with over 3 million cash. First of all, they offered the core members 100,000 naira each as at the time, right? So this was when the dollar was about 165, 150, 160. So you can appreciate how much what 100,000 naira was what then. And they offered this to the core members, and they offered 5,000 naira per vote to anyone who casted a vote for them. And I did the numbers as at the time, and multiplied it by the 774 local governments that we had. You see that the numbers are quite high, and the reason why it's easy for people to actually sell their votes is because people are poor, right? So in as much as, yes, it's punishable by the law, but people are still poor. They just have to find a way to feed themselves. And there is something unique that happens pre an election year. Check it in 2015, it happened. Check it in 2011, it happened. Every time before an election year, there is always a crunch, a hold on budgetary spending in Nigeria, using Nigeria as a case study, because both the ruling party and the opposition parties, nobody wants to spend money. Nobody wants to bring in money into the market. So everywhere is stalled, and it's as though hell is about to break loose. So people are, scampering, looking for crumbs here and there. So it's easy during an election for 10,000 naira to make a difference to the common Nigerian who finds himself living below $2 a day. Now, this is one of the huge issues that influences vote trading. And to answer the question again that Promise asked, another danger of vote trading is the issue of non-accountability, because you can't hold the government accountable. When you trade your vote, it's as though you've sold your conscience. It's as though you're shut up for the next for the next dispensation, for the tenure, as long as that government is in power. So it's actually impossible to speak up. That's why we find things go wrong in our polity. People are not able to speak because they've been paid off. And remember, we are looking at it from just the populist point of view. This vote trading begins all the way from when the delegates, before even doing the what's it called now, the primaries. So during political party primaries, vote trading even begins from that era, and it trickles all the way down to the populace. So it's a huge issue, in our politics today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chile. While you spoke, when you had started off saying that you would rather have it, as vote buying, I wanted to quickly step in, but I'm glad that you landed at the point of vote trading, because we've seen in our society where beyond people paying with money, people have paid with other things. As long as there's an exchange that goes on to sway the conscience of the people, to sway the activities of the people, not educate them. So there's a difference between educating the citizenry and swaying the minds of the people, into beyond even swaying. We've seen scenarios in recent times where some people have had their tools hijacked. We saw someone who is living with a disability the other time say his vehicle was broken, his wheelchair was broken because he had put a particular sticker on his wheelchair. We've seen scenarios where people are forced. The other day I saw a group of Okada men, and all they were lamenting was that they are being forced. They are being forced to, take a particular action that, of course, is against their will, is against what they believe in. I hear you clearly analyze the issue of poverty and, speak to people who are on the streets. And that's why I'm very happy Michael is here. Michael is one young man that, while I know many people have spoken or paid lip service to the issues around poverty, probably handed crumbs down to people when it has to do with our politicians, leave the people impoverished, so that all they do is hail you, all they do is serve you in a capacity where they can't lift their heads. But Michael, time after time, we've seen you on the streets, we've seen you in areas where I've always wondered, how will this young man, does he have an intention to break even? Where is the place of, probably trying to make some gains, even from what it is that, you do? And that's why I'm going to be asking you this question. I like to call you King. You've been on the streets. I know you're involved in a lot of street mobilization on different ends. Even with your new initiative that we had mentioned while we were speaking to your profile this evening, the Transform Nigeria initiative. It's okay to call you the King of Boys. I know in the quarters where you do the stuff that you do, it's okay for us to call you the King of Boys tonight, especially within the slums. How have you seen this play out? How have you seen vote trading play out? We've just heard Chile analyze poverty as an excuse or as a reason for vote trading as an excuse to say why convict people. These people are living below $2, and so they just get swayed. So how have you seen this play out in your terrain, and what mechanisms can we put in place? What mechanisms can be put in place to correct this? Are there things we can do? I know you've been empowering the youth, but we just want you to speak to vote trading and tell us things that can be done, to mitigate this. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is all right. Yes, speaking on this subject is something I'm pretty much passionate about because from my experience, I've worked with a little bit about, I think, 3 politicians as we speak, and I'm basically on campaign. So Jimmy Agbaje and a few friends. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
So I'm going to say this. Yeah, this subject is in 2 dimensions. The first one is this: are you real or are you joking? Now, there is a reason why it took me a long time to support Peter Obi. I'm a diehard Peter Obi fan. I'm going to make Peter Obi, by God's grace, do everything I have, to make Peter Obi the next president. Everything that has to do with my own capacity will be dropped. But the problem with the ideology that is being spread out on the side of Labour Party is that we don't give shishi. And I'm going to tell you this. There are 2 ways to this subject. The first is, somebody already said it, poverty. Now, on the poverty side, it's not because people are poor that they collect money. So that's why we all missed it. It is actually because they are waiting for the 4 years. They are waiting for next year to make money. That's how bad poverty has become in Nigeria. Let me tell you this. Kuye, I don't know how many of you know Kuye. I think it's a House of Rep member from Shomolu side. The dude won election in 2019 with Kuli and Gari. If you're talking about vote trading, we're not even talking about horse trading or money or stuff. We're talking about even Kuli and Gari, and people voted for this dude. Thugs came out and showed guns, and nobody wanted to vote for PDP because of Kuye. Now, the situation on ground is this. Nigeria is messed up. So if we are talking about being on the other end of no vote trading and stuff like that, we will not win. Unfortunately, this is the truth. I am sorry to say this.
Who is we, Michael? Remember the Workplace Women platform, Michael?
Well,
is a non-partisan platform. We respect the fact that you are a die-hard fan. We respect those views. So I don't think we would want to lean to win, as you speak, right? Okay, so but we hear you clearly. Apologies, I had to interject, but it was important that I do so.
It's all right. So when I say we, listen, 2023 is not about Tinubu versus Atiku and Peter Obi. It's about ideologies versus ideology. So what we're talking about here is Peter Obi being the guy who is representing a microcosm of the new age of election. We know they give shit. We go campaign and we go talk. I have done that before. I lost. But guess what? I won about, let me say, about 4 out of the, not polling unit now. What is up on top of polling unit? Please, someone should remind me. I'm kind of hungry, so I forget when I'm hungry. But in the hierarchy of voting, there's word. Yeah, I won a couple of words. But let me tell you this. So there are 2 things here. There are Nigerians that are poor, hungry, and there's nothing you say, no matter how eloquent you are, they will not vote unless you pawn out your cash. That is the Nigeria as it is. But from experience, again, I've been able to talk to some houses, some words, and one of the things we're able to achieve, I was shocked because I didn't believe it until it happened, was that we went to some words, and these were party houses for APC. They brought down the flag of APC, and they mapped out our own. I don't want to go into the details. And we won in those territories. Guess how much we spent? 0 naira. These were abject, when they talk about poverty, talk about abject poverty-driven environment. Yet, they had conscience enough to listen to what we were saying. So, 2 things. Vote buying. To stop vote buying, you have to start early education. When we talk about early education, when you talk about early education, is you have people like me who are in the territories. Look at Banky W right now, for instance. I'm of course I know some of the guys doing this stuff. I keep telling them 4 years ago this dude came out wanted to be House of Rep member. Now he lost, then he went out into oblivion for under 4 years. He's coming out again to win what? I don't understand how people deal. Who have you helped? How many people are behind you? If you have 1,000 soldiers who already know you've impacted their lives, I'm not interested in politics as we speak. If I do, I will win any of these households. Don't forgive me for this language because this is a passionate stuff for me. Now, here's the deal. You want to end vote buying Nigeria. You don't end vote buying by not buying votes. You deal with those clowns who will not vote for you. I'm talking to my mechanic. I was successful to gather everybody at the mechanic workshop. They said, even if it as much as giving them working gown, they will start a rally with me. Look at how Nigeria has been so degraded into a level whereby can you okay, you say I should not be partisan. Okay, so let's just leave this conversation alone. But what I'm saying is this: the solution for my own end, because I'm been on the field, and I've also been on the upper echelon part where we are talking about buy the vote, and I've been on both sides because I did PDP, now I'm doing Labour Party. I never did APC, I will never do APC, God forbid. Now, the deal on the ground, if you are going to fix Nigeria, we have to take it from top to bottom approach. Now, anything that makes us talk about we are not going to buy votes, you have gone to the bottom. And you never get anything done at the bottom. Study history. There has never been a time where anybody fixed anything in any nation that they came from the bottom to the top approach. It never worked. It always ended up in somebody getting shot at and somebody dying. It will never work. So if we're going to fix this, we're going to have to make sure that first we have enough clout in terms of getting the right people to the right field, to persuading people, opening their eyes. Because truth be told, these guys are blind. Somebody just sent me a text that I'm not a rebel. Then the second part is that we also have to bring out our wallet and buy some votes. When we get there, we will win. We will change the system, but we cannot change the system that we are not a part of. Anyway, that's my point, sir. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. I know why I'm shouting, please. I'm not an ambulance, guys. It's important that I say a big welcome again to everyone. I saw a couple of people join while Michael was speaking. Yes, this is the seat, and tonight we're speaking on vote trading, mitigation strategies, and mechanisms. This is the second week in a long haul of 15 weeks. Yes, we'll be doing this for the next 15 weeks. The first 8 weeks, of course, will be in English language, where we would have young solution mongers from different sectors, different walks of life, of course, who are Nigerians, speak to us on the different topics that we've been able to see the ills that they've meted out on the country. And the remaining 7 years will be in our indigenous languages. I tell you, truly speaking, I look forward to that session where we'll come here on Twitter and it's Hausa or Yoruba or Igbo or TV or Pidgin and of course one more language, Efik. We already have all of those planned out. I was screaming wow because it's very important when you have your sleeves rolled. So beyond Michael doing a lot of education for those in the slums, I think you've even moved on to the next question, which was for us to speak directly to the solutions. Are there ways that vote trading can be mitigated? Is it something that we can mitigate? Is it something that we can totally kill? Is this something that can be avoided? And I think you've gone on to give us one or two. You've spoken to voters' education and you made it as practical as possible. I don't know who else was hearing you, but I heard the part of, you speak to your mechanic, you speak to that person next door, you speak, to that woman you're buying something from. I was shocked, and that was why I was screaming, wow, to say that to see that you disagree. You certainly disagree with the fact that it's not poverty. It's a game of the mind. It's a game of ideologies. Is someone being able to sell that ideology? The holy book that I believe in puts it in a very nice way. He said, how will they know except somebody tells them? How will they know except they hear? Even when it comes to building your capacity to do great things, which is called faith, he puts it nicely. He said it comes by hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing constantly. And so you've also highlighted that point tonight to say that we shouldn't just dismiss these people and say, oh, they are poor, but that we should pass on the ideologies. And I believe the people here tonight are hearing us. And if you really picked from what you have said, is that while we say we're not vote buying, you can actually also use funds. The truth is, there's nothing you want to drive. There's nothing you want to, impactfully drive that you probably won't need to exchange money for. But I think the light you have brought is beyond saying, oh, take this 10 naira and do this. I can say, you know what, wear this t-shirt. I can say, you know what, take this face cap, or any collateral at all that can serve a good purpose, not necessarily to have the person's vote swayed, but to also make that person join in some sort of way in voters' education. And then the last thing I heard you say was that the bottom-top approach never works. That was a very interesting one. The bottom-top approach never works. It's always a top to bottom approach. I don't know if Barrister Paul understands that and would want to shed light, or Michael or Chile, any one of you who wants to shed light to why, I don't know why Michael would have said that. I know even organizations, initiate bottom-top approaches, What do you think?
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Michael. You brought another perspective to it when speaking about the top to bottom and bottom to top. Even though those phrases remind me of a particular political party, but we are non-partisan, so let's go straight to the point.
So the platform is non-partisan. Your views, we respect your views. It's your right, but the platform is non-partisan. So please, you can go ahead as long as you do not refer to it as we. You keep it in the confines of you.
Thank you for stating it out very clearly. So basically, yes, before now, Michael would have been right. In 2015, in 2019, in 2007, in 2011, in 1999, in 2003, Michael would have been right. But we have also seen that the Nigerian political journey from 1999 till date has matured, and it has gone beyond the top to bottom. It's now looking like bottom to top. Just like in organizations before now would say that customer is king. But now, organizations are being taught, changing their mindsets to say that staff is actually king. If you treat your staff right, they will treat the customer right. Okay? I know that this is, a mixed platform. I'm sure there are some customer-centric people, in our midst. And they would agree with me that the new thought leadership around customer service now is that you treat your staff right, your staff will treat your customers right. And that is on the platform or on the premise by which I personally believe that the approach that would work this time around to deliver this nation would be from bottom to top. Now, this is the point where I agree with Michael. I agree that we have to do education. I agree that we have to do sensitization. And I also agree that there has to be some form of vote trading. This is what I think. In the US, for example, in the Congress, vote trading is allowed in the Congress. So in vote trading in the US, I vote for a particular bill in favor bearing in mind that when it's my turn to pass for a bill to be passed, this senator or this congressman would also throw his weight behind my bill. Lobbying of votes is allowed in the Congress. Okay, so I think that the common Nigerian now who really wants Nigeria to make progress would also have to, in the words of Kelechi, roll our sleeves and also get involved in vote trading. Because if we say if we say we want to stop vote trading entirely, politics is a game of interests. It's a game of what is in it for me. A lot of people have voters card. Trust me, on that day, they are not going to go out there to vote because maybe they are not yet convinced of what is in it for them. So there should be a lot of education at the grassroots level. And the reason why we have to actually go really grassroots, by grassroots I mean suburbs, the man in Kwale, the man who is somewhere in Mpa, the man who is somewhere in the remote Wulali area of Kano State, someone who is somewhere in Malala Duku. Not people who are running around on the streets of Lagos, no, but people who are really in areas where even internet service and internet coverage, that is where this rigging and vote buying actually happens. That is where the numbers are rigged in from. So we have to actually go by the way of education and also taking the very same thing that the politician would have taken to these people to woo their votes. We can take it to them in the form of CSR. We can take it to them in the form of CSR. I had a very funny story at one time, sometime this year. So a friend of mine was telling me that his grandmother, he had gone to the village in one of the southeastern states. His grandmother was not around, and he waited for the grandmother for a couple of hours. By the time she returned, they said she went to the village square, and from the house to the village square was maybe about 2 hours trek for that old woman. And the guy is like, Mama, why did you go? Where have you been? The woman, after resting and catching her breath, said, this pack of salt that I got from this man that wants to go and represent us, if I don't go and collect these salts now, when the man becomes the senator, we will not see him again. So at least I went to collect this salt. This salt is my own inheritance. Now, the people have a mindset that they are entitled to something. I've been involved in grassroots mobilization where you go to sensitize the people about a particular political candidate, and when you're done...
Sorry to jump in, Chile. Please don't lose your train of thought. Is it that they have a mindset that they are entitled to something, or that the people do not believe that they own the nation? I would want to believe, and I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Anyone can stop me in my tracks, but I want to believe that it's an ownership mindset that is lacking, and I think that's what we're beginning to see on our streets. That's what we're beginning to see, even without the campaigns starting yet. The ownership mindset. So if we go by the scenario that you're painting right now, it will suffice to say that woman believes that governance is not what I should drive at. I remember the workplace women, the session we had at the end of last month. We had a facilitator who has been a member, I believe, of the Red Seat at some point, coaching the women along the lines of politics. And she had said something fascinating when she was defining government. She had defined government as a government of the people, for the people, by the people. And when it came to governance, because what we were talking about was governance, she has said to us that governance wasn't just for the people in the seats, that governance was for us. It is us. And that is why today we have politicians behave in the manner that they behave. We believe that it is not for us. We believe that it's for a select few. We believe that this few can do as they wish. No. This is power committed to them. And so, coming back to the point you had raised, is it that the woman is believing that, let me just have this? It's a part of, is a portion of what these people have that they are giving me a part of, and if I don't get to get this at this time, I may never get it again. Or is it that such a woman should know that this person is there because I put this person there? This person is there because this person is a servant. This person is there because I voted this person in. I have the power. I have the power to vote this person in. I have the power to vote this person out. I know at this point someone will be asking me, so why then do we have people rig? They rig because you did not vote. And I believe that's why people rig. If it wasn't important, why do we have all of the stifling of cash? Why do we have all of the travels? If you get to a place like the Federal Capital Territory now, even flights are a big deal. Why? Everywhere is saturated. Everyone is flying everywhere to get as much consultation, to buy up as much as they can buy up, to speak with the people who matter at the table, to consult from the top. Like they have made us believe. I think I want to belong to the school of thought that believes that, a bottom top approach can work because the power actually sits with the people. So I would rather think that the voters' education will be channeled at redirecting the minds of the people towards the fact that while you are in that your Opa, like you had mentioned, while you are in that local village in Abeokuta, while you are in that place in Guzo in Sokoto, the power sits with you to put people in power. I just came back a few weeks ago from one of the states in South East Nigeria. I was speaking to a team of career people and business people. It was a workshop they had invited me for. I came in there. I didn't expect the kind of audience I received, jam-packed. Of course, by God's grace, I was ready for the moment. But in some way, we found ourselves within the conversation, and I didn't know when I lost it. Because driving through the streets, and I dare to mention Abba, driving through the streets of Abba, I kept asking the people who took me around, is it that the three people that you voted at the level of the Senate, you don't know where they are. You don't know who their family members are. You don't know who their parents are. You don't know who their relatives are. Is it that the 10 people who you have at the level of the House of Reps, you don't know where these people are? I didn't know when I turned to Igbo language, I said, even if it means as in Wele, is it that you don't know where these people are? I lost it. In fact, I didn't know that it was going to create such an emotional scenario. I didn't, because I was just speaking out of passion. I saw a people so laid back. I saw a people that had so given in. I saw a people, and then I saw billboards everywhere. You see a billboard up there that would cost about 7 million naira per year, 10 million, and you look down at exactly where the billboard is standing, and it's a puddle. And some funny looking person is up there smiling at you. I don't get it. So I beg to disagree with you, and I stand to be corrected. I totally stand to be corrected, but I believe, I don't know what I've even switched from uncle to speaker, but this is a passionate area for me. I want to believe that the citizenry have been part of the problem. We do not know that governance sits with us. We do not know that we are the ones who ought to bequeath this authority to the people who sit in the different seats of power. I don't know if anyone would want to respond. I'm looking in right now. I'm seeing Kalu Aja. I'm so excited. It's not his topic tonight, but Kalu is here. Please grant Kalu speaker rights if he doesn't mind. This is a man I respect so much. If there's any way to keep, extending the soul, he is my own particular finance minister. That's what I call him on my own. On my own. I've followed financial planning with Carlo for a couple of years now. And if you know me well, I'm an ardent follower of anything that I believe in. I follow him. He's one of the people I know that this nation is really, really, really blessed to have. It's so good to have you here, Kaluaja, tonight. Host, if you can, please grant him speaker rights. He may want to drop a thing or two. I know he had opted for the topic, the new Nigeria. I was looking forward to have him at that time, but he's here tonight, and so it's fine. So, Julia, forgive my outburst. I just had to give that outburst. I don't know if anyone would want to respond to it, but I see our time is rounding off. It may just be good to just grant one more person or two an opportunity to say something while we round off tonight.
Because I heard him and he's saying I wasn't right, but apparently Chile is probably not in touch with how things work in Nigeria. This is not an attack; it's just a fact. Because I'm not someone who is talking from books. I'm someone who is on the ground. My nose is on the ground. As we speak, I'm training over 2,000 young people on different kind of stuff, and I'm in the street. I just created a software for Peter Obi to help him get the structure that we're talking about from Lagos to Maiduguri. Now, why I said this is because you pretty much don't understand me when I said the bottom approach will not work. I'll tell you, the people that are at the bottom are already dead. It's a dead water. It's like flogging the dead earth. These guys, I don't know, maybe you grew up in Lekki, I don't know, or VI. But if you grew up in a place like me, where I grew up like Oworoshoki, you will know the mundane thing. Since the 90s that you mentioned, a politician will come every 4 years, sit us down in the town hall, give us bread and beans, talk bull crap, and we'll never see him again for 4 years. That has been the norm. It is still the norm. I just told you in front of you that, what do you call him? It's a House of Rep member who has been there for at least 5 times. 5 times. Just came last season and gave kuli kuli. Maybe you don't know what kuli kuli is. Kuli kuli is that granite made by Hausa, blended with pepper. Is worthless. And they gave it with Gary that is not worth $100. And people voted him. Not only did they vote him, they pull out guns, a polling unit, and stop PDP guys from winning. If you know the story with the guy called Chicago Ashomolu, he had literally won. Now, I have at least 5 friends who are in the House of Rep or maybe one is in the Senate. But I will tell you, this reality is where the problem is. For me to come to terms with the fact that you cannot win election in Nigeria unless you did a 4-year program. Now, even Peter Obi that I am supporting is late. He came this year. He started this year. If you wanted to do educational marketing, which is a subject in marketing I have thesis on. Now, listen, if you're going to do educational marketing and you're going to use that to really voting for people to vote for you, you will have to start at least 2 years program. And this has always been the problem with the smart guys. Look at Tinubu. Tinubu is a dead asshole. But guess what? The guy has been working for 7 years. You know what we're fighting today is a 7-year project for Tinubu. It's not even 7 years.
Michael.
Yes.
Michael. I just said to mention your name, Please continue.
But the reality is that if we want to live in utopia and just assume that we are going to come, speak good grammar and ragma and people will vote, bro, it's not going to happen. I have done that. The only way that works is if you came 4 years earlier. I'm sure I'm getting one. If you came 4 years earlier and then you did a 4-year project, you have an army of 1 million people. Then you can easily say we're not going to give shishi. But what I'm suggesting, if Peter B is in front of me, this is what I also suggest. You have to do both. You have to do vote buying. Not just vote buying. No. Vote buying is the smallest part of the problem. The real problem, let me tell you what we might not even talking about this night, is actually the thugs that will come to the polling unit and show you guns. I almost got shot in Oroshoki because I was trying to raid voting for my friend that was running for House of Rep. I almost got shot. The guy that almost shot me is dead now. What's it called, boy? But he heard me saying that I was supporting PDP. It was a problem. So what I'm saying is the people that we are fighting for are not even ready. So what we need to do is the opening of eyes, which is a 4-year project. One. The second part is now the buying, giving them that crumb that they're expecting to get from Tinubu. Then they will ignore Tinubu because now you're coming with wisdom and you're also coming with bread. The people are hungry. You don't want to know the amount of people that sent me text this week alone. for AIDS, you don't want to know. The country is almost, God forbid, is not dead, but the reality is that the hunger is at its peak in Nigeria. Whether you're in Abuja or Lagos, it is crazy. So not buying votes is you being unrealistic. All right, thank you. I think I'm done. God bless you guys.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Paul.
Yes, one of the biggest challenge we have as a country is that we have laws that are not working. We have laws that are not being implemented. For instance, during the introduction, I mentioned that no one in Nigeria as of today has been convicted of vote trading. Is it that the law enforcement agents don't know or are not aware that votes are being traded, that people are buying votes? Yet we have this law codified in the Electoral Act, which makes it an offense. If adopting the top to bottom approach, I think one of the ways we can actually address, if not completely, but at least mitigate it to the barest minimum, is if we can start enforcing our laws. Who are those people? I think Chilum was the one that talked about him participating in an election in somewhere in Gombe, and some people brought 3 million naira. Now we have laws that are in place. We have law enforcement agents, even at that polling units where the money was shared. If these people can be arrested starting from the top, because if people are not bringing the money to buy votes, then there will be nobody to sell their votes. So for me, I believe that if our law enforcement agents can actually take this serious. But the challenge that we have now in Nigeria is that those that we are looking at for them to actually implement the laws or enforce laws or even bring about laws that would actually address this issue are those people that are buying and selling, that are buying the votes from the poor people, which is the poor populace. So I believe that if the laws, Nigerian laws, especially in regard of vote trading, is implemented, that the issue of vote trading will be reduced. The biggest challenge we have in Nigeria is not necessarily poverty. Poverty is not the biggest problem we have as a country, because there are people that are poor that are still ready and willing to do that which is right. The biggest problem we have is the problem of leadership. Our leaders, those people that we get into power or that get into power through vote buying, they are the ones that don't even help for this issue to be addressed. Because when they get there, they say, oh, I got to this place by buying and selling or trading votes. Then that means that if I stop it, how do I get back there when I want to get back there in 4 years' time? So poverty is a challenge that we are facing, the masses are facing. However, it is not the biggest challenge. As we are talking about educating the poor masses for them to know the importance of voting for those that have competence, those that have capacity, those that have the right track record, we should also be talking about arresting and prosecuting those that fund and bankroll vote trading in Nigeria. I think if this is addressed from the top, then the bottom, addressing that from the bottom wouldn't be much of an issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very
Yeah,
much for that brilliant view.
yeah,
I
so,
see Paul is three.
yeah,
Granted speaker rights. Go ahead. Barrister Paul,
yeah,
you may want to mute yourself so it doesn't clash with what K Mystery has to say. Just, click on the speaker icon, the mic, and then just put it off if you can. All right, K
yeah,
Mystery,
yeah. Thank
you can
you.
go ahead, please.
Yeah, like, as my brother said earlier, you know, see, our judiciary system is very, very weak.
K
If you
Mystery, you
are,
want to introduce yourself?
yeah, my name
Kindly
is,
introduce yourself.
yeah, sorry, my name is Umar. I'm from Kano. No, so I joined this conversation this evening. So welcome everybody on board. And what I'm trying to contribute is that is our judiciary system is very, very low. What I mean by low, those people that is being maybe we can prosecute, they are highly, highly protected by someone and got comparison. That's one. You know what happened in the 2019 Kano election? Everybody know that how they conduct elections because they went there, one of the commissioner went there with the deputy governor and present deputy governor on that year election. They went there, they destroyed everything. So that's why I say our judiciary system is very, very low. You can't do anything. I don't know how we can bring back our judicial system because it's very, very low. Everybody is know that. It's not about talking about the what you call it masses. It's those that behind the system, behind the government. So what I'm going to say is that our judiciary, in part, our judiciary is collapsed. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not as though, yeah, you can mute yourself, okay?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah, not talking about vote buying.
Yeah.
Vote buying is something else. But our judicial system, you can't prosecute some highly top government officials. That's our district. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Umar. So what Umar is saying is that this is a far deeper conversation than saying that this is what the law, the rule of law has stated. And this also brings us to the point that as we listen, as the campaigns kick off by the end of this month, and we listen to the, candidates that have put themselves forward to sit in the number one sit on the number one seat in Nigeria. We need to listen for these things. If someone is saying that I would uphold the rule of law, it probably means that I should be looking in the direction of this person. If we see someone who, flagrantly, doesn't have any form of regard for the law, that should also send a message across. Truthfully speaking, Umar has raised something quite sensitive. If we say prosecute at the base, if we say, hand the people crumbs, that's a solution. I don't think there's any solution that should be thrown out of the box. Hand them crumbs. We've said tonight, educate them like we are also doing with this platform. We've said reach out to, those around you, that mechanic, that plumber, speak to them. It's a game of ideologies. We hear that. Barrister Paul has come up to say, let's go the path of the law. There's room, to prosecute in the law. And Umar is saying, truthfully speaking, that's not a conversation for tonight anyway, except we see someone who has a solution to it. Daniel, I see your hand up. I guess we'll just take you and look forward to rounding off this session at 8:30. By week 6, we would be discussing security as it has to do with the electoral process, and that would be also be speaking to the example Umar had given around the fact that a deputy governor had to come to a voting center, a polling center, So we'll be speaking around that by week 6. We'll have a few professionals in that area who would, come into this space, and then let's look at it again. Let's x-ray it. Thank God for all that we see happening, but can the people safely come out and not have guns at their head, and not have, people who would beat them up, and not have people who would block the roads? Will the people be free from intimidation? Would they be free from harassment? Would they be free, from having their lives, exposed to death, having their families exposed to death? So that's a strong issue Umar has raised, especially from the top, where the people who need to be prosecuted are protected by the same law that should be prosecuting them. Daniel, I see your hand up. Would quickly take you as we round off today's session and look forward to the next session next week, Thursday, same time. Remember, I had earlier stated that this is a 15-week series. with well curated topics that would not just evoke emotions, would not just evoke the issues, but would prefer solutions. Anyone we're able to get would just go to work with it. The first 8 weeks we have said would be in English language, and the remaining 7 weeks will be in our indigenous languages. Yes, we'll still come to this platform, but at the end of it, we're not stopping here. Whatever content it is we're able to garner, will ensure that stakeholders at different levels are able to get this content, will ensure that it gets into the hands of the ones who are vying for the seat of the House of Reps, the ones who are going to the Senate, the ones at the chairman level, the ones at the different ward levels, the local government level, the people on the streets, the people in the churches, in the mosques, in the different places where people need to know that it's not just a dirge, it's not just all gloomy. There could be solutions, and all we need are people who would execute those solutions, including the populace, including the citizenry. And that is the responsibility of every good citizen to ensure that there's good governance. So Daniel, I yield the mic to you quickly. Let's have your contribution, sir.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Although I didn't start from the beginning, but I've benefited from all the speakers, and I want to come in this angle. When it comes to vote trading, and why it is now difficult, even for INEC to put an end to that, is because there are so many actors involved. It's not only the voters, the police or the security agencies. They also empower the process, because a situation whereby now the politicians, when they make their budgets, they budget for both the voters, the security agencies, and the electoral officers. And most people all these people, they go, when it comes to election period, they see it as a period where they can make money. And so when police is settled, they look away. And that is when because the essence of giving them this money is because they want the security agencies to look away, so that they will allow them to do whatever they want to do. And so it is not only the voters. That is why you see that for you to even say you want to prosecute anybody, it means there are people who bring this money, and there are people who come with the mindset that they want to make money during this election. So this security, I will say that until our security agencies take a stand on this thing is going to continue, this vote buying. That's why I agree with that. On the other hand, I would tend to agree with the man that said we should do both. Do both, because saying you are not going to, these people, especially the voters, no matter how it is, the most difficult places that me I'm seeing when it comes to the cities. Somebody like the candidate of the Labour Party in the cities, because they have too much learned people there. Those people know the reality of things. But those in the villages who are depending on the people in the city, they may not be this knowledgeable about what is really happening. The only thing that they know is that, okay, the problem we are having is the president. The problem we are having is the president. And since he's not contesting again, they don't mind, getting whatever they can get out of the election, because that is they have been subjected to abject poverty. And so when this money comes, they tend to take it. So the problem now is those in the village, and for me, the security agencies. Without the security agencies being involved, vote buying cannot stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I also know that the flip side to preferring solutions is to articulate the problems rightly, and I think that's what you've done. I don't know if anyone has any solution to what you've raised. I just hope this does not bring us back to a point of helplessness, or a situation where it's looking bleak again. I just hope that's not where it's taking us to. I would suggest that you can drop a comment. Before we logged on tonight, we observed that the workplace women Twitter space got restricted. I wouldn't know. I can't say why that happened, but we just had to go on. Used one of the links we could get because, of course, this session had to hold, and it would always hold. It would always hold. I would have said simply go there, drop any answers you would have to what Daniel has raised, whether on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or you can just reach out to someone like me privately. Drop it as an inbox message. Remember, for us, it is that we're collating solutions. So the security agencies are part of the challenge. The judiciary is I don't know what the word is now to use. But is it a despondent situation? Is the Nigerian situation irredeemable? And that's a question I'd leave with us as we round off tonight's session. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who's logged on to listen. I do hope that beyond listening, you would contribute in the other sessions, and even beyond contributing, that some of the solutions that have been raised tonight, that you would definitely find one or two that you can implement at the level that at the level where you have impact, whether it's in your home, whether it's on your streets, within your community. If you remember the scenario I had painted earlier on about the panelists that we're bringing to this platform in these 15 weeks, I had described them as solution mongers, people that we know that within the spaces that they occupy, within the spaces they occupy, with the skills that they have, they've been making immeasurable impact. And I had said, flip that with many of the people we vote into power. These are people that are almost untraceable. You can't come to their community and say, this is what you've seen them do. And then we boldly elect them into power. There's no way, there's no magic that would naturally expect when we take such actions. And on this note, it would be a good place to say good night, everyone. Thank you very much for logging on. We look forward to having you next Thursday. We do hope that the restriction on our page will be lifted. Peradventure it's not, we definitely will find a way. We must get this information together. We must collate it. We have made up our minds to do so. We'll collate it. And like I said, for us, most importantly, it will be shareable content. We would ensure that we engage the necessary stakeholders, that would eventually do something. Thank you again for logging on. Thank you for your time. A big thank you to the panelists that we had tonight. A big thank you to some of the panelists that are also slated for other topics, who also found time out of their busy schedules to be here tonight. We appreciate you all. Once again, it's the seats. It's the platform of the seat, a good governance initiative bettered by the workplace women. Thank you very much, everyone.